Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 here with my tag team partner in podcasting, Stone Cold Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. Do I need to start cracking some beers and spilling them all over the place and chugging them and smacking them off my head?
Wouldn't upset me even a little bit, pal.
That'd be good. Beer party? That's how you end a show. That's not how you start a show. You don't start a show with a beer party.
Man, okay, I have a lot of thoughts about the Raw reunion last night.
I'm very curious to see where we are on a lot of things.
Okay, so my opinions, the best way I can describe my opinions are they're very mixed. The show was not great. The show could have been worse.
Sure.
And the show was better than I was expecting, but still not good. That's where I'm at. Now the floor is yours.
I thought the best parts of the show were the parts that incorporated the storylines that the WWE are currently working with and the current stars.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know I just said the floor was yours, but I'm not positive you mean what you just said. Like, here's an example of a really bad way they did that. Like when DX came out against the Club.
That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that was incorporating the current feuds, though.
But it really wasn't, because the current feud was with Ricochet, and so that really didn't work for me at all. I think of like stuff with The Fiend, even with Mick Foley, like that was kind of okay. Like I wanted to see
that part was good.
Cedric Alexander and Drew McIntyre was actually kind of like a high point. Like I enjoyed that. Samoa Joe working with Roman Reigns, I thought was good. Muddying everything up with all of the nostalgia acts. Like, I don't mind nostalgia. In fact, I thought I was going to enjoy this show. I don't think this show was kind of bad. I thought this show was GD terrible. And I hated almost all of it. Almost every second of it. I didn't crack a smile for stuff I normally crack a smile for.
Interesting.
I was mildly amused with the fact that I called that there's going to be a segment where there are 15. It's not like I went out on a limb. I said to you earlier in the day, there are going to be 15 so-and-sos in a room, and Ron Simmons is going to say, damn. That's going to happen. Again, that's not going out on a limb. Like, I feel like we just did a show like this. They're trying to pop a rating, and the acting is absolutely garbage. These stars come back. Alundra Blaze, I didn't know who that was.
Dude, you could apply that to every woman who's not on the current roster. Who are these people? Do they know? Like, does WWE, they weren't even a blip on my radar.
That segment with Santino and then Alicia Fox, the one woman that walked up with half her head shaved, I still don't know who that was.
Okay, there were two women talking to Alicia Fox. I believe one may have been Caitlyn, how she even got, and I'm not even positive. Hold on, I got a run sheet open. I'll check in a second.
I don't know who that is. You say Caitlyn, I still don't know who that is.
Because she was around for 3 weeks during a time you didn't watch.
Kelly became the 24/7 champion. Holy smokes.
She's so hot.
Sure.
She's my pot roast and a sledgehammer.
You finally do Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles right, and then they get the honor of having the annual DX burial. These guys come out, they can barely walk to the effing ring, and they make the new club, the OC, they make this there to be a dominant trio, and you just had Scott Hall and X-Pac scare them back. Jesus criminy.
I'm dumbfounded right now. I'm dumbfounded because I just found out who was backstage.
Jiminy Christmas.
Dude, with Alicia Fox, I didn't recognize an active roster member.
Who?
Dana Brooke.
Where was she? I didn't see her once.
Dana, Me neither. Dana Brooke was backstage with Caitlyn and Alicia Fox.
Boy, oh boy. Plastic surgery took a turn on her.
And she used to be so pretty.
Oh my God.
She was. Like, she was a little athletically built. But
yeah, no, I liked it. And then she got those crazy duck butthole lips.
And like her face is like all reshaped. And man, why do people do this to themselves?
I'm trying not to be hostile. I'm really trying. I started suffering through the show just because I was like, I hope Bray Wyatt shows up. Like, that's all I'm looking forward to at this point. I thought the show started out with a real thud. Like, I did not enjoy the Rikishi Usos John Cena rap thing, and I tried to go into it with an open mind. I knew what they were trying to do all night. It just seemed like everything was stiff and not really. Michael Cole was more annoying than usual. Ted DiBiase sucked. Like, what the heck?
See,
quit ruining my childhood with these type of shows.
Okay. I do think I disliked it less than you, but I still am. I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending it.
The only thing I kind of liked that was a nostalgia thing. Like, I thought the Stone Cold promo I liked it enough.
Okay.
Like, I thought it was heartfelt. I thought it was poignant. He was drunk enough that it was funny. I hate the what chant.
Okay.
But I sucked it up through that.
How about let's you and I go old school and let's go segment by segment, kind of do like a lightning round of what we thought.
Deal.
Okay. I'll host. Here we go. All right. The opening is John Cena raps with the Usos. I'm going to give that, all things considered, it wasn't good. It wasn't awful either.
I mean, it was a good way. John Cena's music was a good way to start the show. You're going to start a show like that with somebody's iconic music. You're going to bring out a star. I thought it would be Hogan. It was, or DX or something. John Cena makes sense. It popped my 8-year-old. So I give that credit. I thought his arrested line to the Usos was kind of funny. But other than that, that segment was a pile of poop.
Okay. I thought it was going okay until the Usos came out. And correct me if I'm wrong. And I might be wrong. I thought the Usos were babyface.
Yeah, they are.
So last night they were distinctly heels.
Well, they were tweeners because they came out and they were kind of heel with John Cena, but then Rikishi came out and then they were faces again. And then you bring out Devon Dudley, which doesn't look normal when Bubba Ray's not there.
All right, well, we're going to get there. And also just the fact that John Cena says he's been here since day one doesn't require the Usos to come out. Like, it didn't make any sense for them to really be there.
No, it's a nostalgia show. They just wrote it like, and and John Cena's not one of the ones I'm talking about, but it felt like, and we'll get into it. A lot of these stars, the nostalgia acts, they'd been drinking, they were having fun. It was a reunion of sorts for them, and they didn't take it seriously, and it came off on television like hell.
The Usos defeat the Revival via pinfall. This is all kind of the same segment. We kind of talked about this. Let's see. Booker T was out for commentary. Rikishi was at ringside. The Dudleys were at ringside. Scott Dawson was distracted in the ring and turned around to eat a super kick, and the patented Usos splash followed shortly after for the victory.
Sure.
All right.
No stink face. I was surprised we didn't get a stink face.
The next segment is called Drew McIntyre is Disgusted by the Legends. Before you go, I want to say I think this was the real low point of the show because this involved people who I don't think deserve to be on the show. Like, Caitlyn is not a fixture of Raw. And I don't even know what Alicia was talking about. So I'm going to read to you from CBS Sports. Alicia Fox was backstage describing to Caitlyn and Dana Brooke who I didn't even recognize, how she would prefer to wear an insanely tall hat for SummerSlam. Wait,
30-foot hat. She wants a 30-foot hat.
Tori Wilson then popped in as the latest surprise And she was followed by Santino Marella, who, yes, did bring the Cobra with him and even let us know that his sister Santina was doing well. McIntyre entered the picture and scoffed at the fact that they refer to themselves as legends. Boy, do I agree.
Yeah, the only thing that was entertaining about that, Santino had a little thing when Drew McIntyre was walking away. Santino's in the back and just like, what? Like, I thought that was funny, but that was it.
I don't remember Dana Brooke being there.
No,
I barely remember Caitlin's impact on wrestling, and I don't remember Tori Wilson being there either, to be honest with you.
I saw Alicia Fox and people I didn't know, and then Santino showed up, and then Tori Wilson, then Santino, and then Drew McIntyre, which led to, I thought, a really cool segment between Drew and Cedric Alexander. I thought that the story they're telling with these two, a little bit of brutality out there.
All right, that's
take onto the ring.
That's coming. Let's get there.
Yeah,
we're old school. We're going segment by segment.
Segment by segment.
24/7 championship. Drake Maverick defeats R-Truth via pinfall to save the title. This was backstage with Charlie Caruso. R-Truth revisited his appearance at the San Diego Comic-Con, where he was challenged by Hurricane. Drake Maverick's wife, Renee Michelle, confronted Truth and Carmella about ruining everything surrounding her wedding, and this allowed Maverick to sneak up from behind and win back the title with a roll-up. Maverick and Renee hightailed it out of there as Truth and Carmella gave chase. Maverick's wife assisting him in winning back the title was a nice twist in this ongoing saga of hilarity. That's not my opinion. That's CBS Sports' opinion.
Right.
That was, I would say, no different than a normal Raw.
I mean, the 24/7 was what the 24/7 was.
Yeah.
All night. And it was good. It was bad. The bad parts of it were the part where it's just executed poorly by people that don't do this anymore. Like Pat Patterson not pinning somebody because they can't count the pin if you don't pin them, dumbass.
All right, check. You're going to love this. So that last segment, the 24/7 thing, got a B-, and they gave a C+, a lesser grade to this next segment. Drew McIntyre decimates Cedric Alexander.
I thought that was perfect with the storytelling.
I'm with
from
you.
The past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
I'd rather see build towards SummerSlam than what we got last night. I'm trying not to be a broken record here. Continue.
Well, this part did feel like if there was no reunion last night, I feel like that segment would have probably been the same.
Yeah, I think so too, and it would have been good.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll keep moving. 24/7 championship. Pat Patterson defeats Drake Maverick via pinfall to win the title. Maverick was looking to make an escape in the locker room, but when he opened up his suitcase, was greeted by a host of worms. The boogeyman appeared to terrify Maverick to the point he hit the ground. Writhing in pain, Patterson walked in with the referee, stuck his foot on Maverick's chest, and became the newest 24/7 champion. Jerry Valeri, your thoughts?
Stuck his foot on him. He was stomping him and forgetting that he had to keep his foot there for the pin. He was like, count it, kick, count him, kick, 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 count him, kick. I said, pin him, Pat. Pin him, you dumbass.
Jerry's not wrong. Desecrating the 24/7 championship to me is like what it's there for.
That's what you're supposed to do. Just execute. I just want you to execute properly. I don't have a problem with anyone that really becomes the 24/7 champ at this point. I see what they were doing with the storytelling, but seriously, execute it.
All right. Let's keep going. The Viking Raiders defeat Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins via pinfall. Christian out for commentary. I mean, it felt like a regular Raw match there, I guess.
Yeah, the only difference was Christian was out there for a minute.
No heat. I mean, it was a nothing match. I mean, if we're gonna have an actual match that had an actual finish, why couldn't it have been like, guys we care about? But okay.
Okay.
Moving forward. Okay. You probably know how I feel about this one already. Maria tears down Mike again. Maria Kanellis found Mike backstage mingling with some legends while she was in search of her husband to apply some lotion to her. He was first talking to Eve Torres before Eric Bischoff walked in and suggested maybe Maria might want to join SmackDown if she's not happy. Again, Maria chastised Mike before saying that he won't do anything because she's the breadwinner of the family. Embarrassed already, Mike then had to deal with Ron Simmons with a bullhorn, letting him know, damn.
written by someone that doesn't know wrestling. That's not your average, ordinary bullhorn. That is a Jimmy Hart megaphone, pal.
Hey,
let's get serious. He had a Jimmy Hart megaphone.
You know what the most distracting thing about any segment in that room was? Because there was a few segments in like that party room.
Jimmy Hart?
No, it's the girls dancing to no music.
Oh,
yeah. Did you notice that?
I didn't. I did.
Oh, every time, especially when the shots begin, whenever they go to that room with the balloons and I think it was a blue wall, the girls are dancing, but it's like a movie scene before they add music. You know how like the extras and all, if it's like a nightclub scene, there's not really music when they're filming. The actors are all just dancing to no music. That's what the girls are doing in this shot, and it's so weird.
It's like when you see those parties. You ever see those clubs and clubs have those? Everyone puts on headphones.
I've been to one of those.
Yeah, those silent parties. It's like that. Only no one had headphones on.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I do like, though, the consistent storytelling with Mike and Maria. It's been every week since they've been back, since Paul Heyman's been at the helm, supposedly. And I don't know what it is. It's working for me.
Well, that's working for me, too. I enjoy that. I think what they were trying to do, take these stories that are moving towards SummerSlam and beyond, and the development of these characters and trying to build it, and work in the nostalgia acts where it's appropriate. Sometimes they would crowbar them in, though, and it wouldn't work. This worked. It was just you're not getting through a 3-hour show without getting a Ron Simmons damn. You're going to get it. And so this is where they decided to put it. Then they were able to get Eric Bischoff and a couple other people on it as well. It's when the nostalgia acts, the legends start affecting the stories. Like when we get to DX, I have a huge issue that I start to have a problem. But if they're just used like this segment didn't bother me. It really didn't. And I like the Mike and Maria thing. I think it's compelling storytelling.
Yeah. So I'm with you there. We'll keep going. 24/7 championship. Gerald Brisco defeats Pat Patterson via pinfall to win the title. The camera panned back to the back, quite possibly a little too late, to reveal that Brisco had pinned his stooge buddy Pat Patterson to become the new champion. I feel go ahead.
If I wanted to hook you, you'd be hooked.
Hal, if I wanted to hook you, you'd be hooked. And Patterson got hooked.
Brisco.
Again, it looked very lame, but I mean, even back in the Attitude Era, the Stooges stuff looked lame too. So
that's fine. It's fine. It's the 24. I can take the 24/7 championship with a grain of salt.
I'm with you. Let's keep going. Kelly defeats Gerald Brisco to win the title via pinfall. As Brisco was walking away with the title, he was met by the returning Kelly, roast beef sandwich and a baseball bat. She was cordial at first before revealing her true intentions, low blowing Brisco and pinning him to become the first female 24/7 champion. History made, folks, is what this article says.
Yep. Well, if anyone was going to drop it to a woman first, it was going to be Gerald Brisco or Pat Patterson. So there you have it.
Roman Reigns defeats Samoa Joe via pinfall. I thought this was all right.
I thought this was borderline really good. I enjoyed the Samoa Joe Roman Reigns promos. I really did. I like what they're doing with Roman Reigns here. You've said this a lot about John Cena. For me, it applies to Roman Reigns. I like seeing Roman Reigns when he's not chasing for the Universal Championship. I don't mind him on my television. He's a very good performer, albeit predictable with his moveset. This is fine, and the crowd's kind of behind him. So, okay.
Yeah, this is also where I like Roman not fighting for a title in a story-driven feud. Totally works for me. I thought that their promos made sense. I liked how he said that not every Samoan is a coward, and I don't know. It kind of worked for me. I was a little distracted. I noticed it more in Joe's walking shot before the break, before the promo and everything. He was distractingly tan for me. Like he had been burnt in a tanning bed. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
He is Samoan, man.
No. I'm telling you, it was different.
I didn't pick up on it. All I keep noticing is that Samoa Joe has taken over Bray Wyatt's role of lead jobber. Like boss level jobber is Samoa Joe.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, he doesn't win a match. I mean, he's built as this brutalizing killer, but he doesn't win. But you got to work hard to beat him. And so I'd like to see Joe start going on a tear and picking up wins along the way.
Oh yeah, you and me both. I would love to see him as a champion. I think he's championship level material.
I agree.
I was the guy who said, I stood firm. I need convincing when it comes to Samoa Joe, and I've been convinced. So
I feel like Vince McMahon doesn't fully believe in that.
I don't know. Maybe it's just not been his time yet. I don't know that he's being held down. I don't know that he's not seen as championship material. Personally, let's keep going.
Okay.
All right. Seth Rollins on Miz TV. After running back the closing events from Extreme Rules, Rollins got up out of his chair to not only poke fun at Brock Lesnar's looks, but also refer to him as a Seth Rollins wannabe. Rollins was interrupted by Paul Heyman, who was in the gorilla position to fire back before making his way to the top of the ramp, after Rollins again referred to Lesnar as a wannabe. After Rollins chased Heyman to the back with the promise of a stomp if he gets to the count of 5. Rollins proclaimed that Lesnar is still a human that can be beaten at any time, and that's what he'll do at SummerSlam. He then turned his focus to his matchup later tonight against AJ Styles. Again, it felt very normal. It didn't have a lot of legends ruining it.
This was storyline driven. This was moving towards the main event at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It needed to happen. If this wasn't a Raw reunion show, this would have been there anyways.
Right.
Fine. Good. Okay. I feel like The Miz is being underutilized, but whatever. It's okay.
Candice Michelle defeats Kelly Kelly to become the 24/7 champion via pinfall. Kelly Kelly was celebrating her win when she met up with Michelle, Melina, and Naomi backstage. By the way, again, these women were not. This is absurd to me.
I was I almost was embarrassed to admit today that I was 50-50 on the women. Like, I didn't know who any of I was like, I don't know who this is. When Alundra Blaze eventually comes out, I thought it might have been Ivory because she looked like she was dressed as Right to Censor, right?
Yes, I thought Ivory also for a second. And when I heard her talk, I realized who it was.
Because she had the Right to Censor outfit on, the white blouse with that weird Colonel Sanders black tie.
Naomi, it wasn't the Naomi that who? Well, I don't even remember this Naomi.
Listen, if they weren't on TV for over a year or had a sex tape, I don't know who they are.
Melina, I feel like, is okay, but I barely recognized her. Melina revealed she had become a referee in her years away from the ring, and Michelle attacked Kelly to win the title. Again, I remember Candice Michelle. Guys, when we think of reunion wrestlers, when we think of the legends returning, we're not thinking about Candice Michelle. We're not thinking about Eve Torres. We're not thinking about the other Naomi. It's like, give us a break. We're not thinking about Caitlyn. Caitlyn is absurd.
I didn't know who that was. You could have pulled somebody from the back. I know Charlie Caruso better than I know Caitlyn.
My word. So, yeah.
We're thinking Lita. We're thinking Tori Wilson.
Yeah, Trish Stratus. Alundra Blaze, I'm going to give you. Tori Wilson, I'm going to give you. I mean, Melina's on the fence a little bit, but I mean, at least I respect her.
Alundra Blaze, she just looks like she has crypt keeperitis.
Speaking of Alundra Blaze, she looks like she's on the Face app, which I know I'm stealing a joke from Sami Zayn, but that's what she looked like. Anyway, we're going to keep going. Speaking of Alundra Blaze, she defeated Candice Michelle to win the title. It didn't take long to crown another champion tonight. As Michelle was celebrating, Blaze emerged and made Michelle tap with a quote-unquote horrible-looking choke to win the title. She said she doesn't plan to stay 24/7 champion for a long time before walking off. I did not put together what they were talking about at first, although I probably should have. I just thought she was making a joke about how many times she became the champion and alluding that she wouldn't be, about how many times the title had changed hands and alluding that she wouldn't be champ for long.
Yeah.
We'll keep going. Rey Mysterio defeated Sami Zayn via pinfall. This match was set up from a segment earlier in the night, which actually I thought was a great promo, where Zayn was berating the legends and was challenged by Mysterio. During the match, Zayn got what was coming to him as Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, The Hurricane, and Sergeant Slaughter emerged while Zayn was attempting to escape up the ramp. Back in the ring, Mysterio hit the 619 before paying homage to RVD with the frog splash for the victory. That was barely a frog splash. That was the tadpole splash from Hornswoggle. And again, that was the legends ruining what probably could have been a good match. And I really liked the segment leading up to it because Zayn owned that promo.
Zayn promo was great. You know I popped for Rob Van Dam, as hypocritical as it is.
Why was he even in his attire?
I don't know. I was like, oh my God, is he going to do a frog splash? I can't wait to see this. He doesn't look great these days, but I was excited. I thought I've got a Rob Van Dam observation at the end of the show, but for this segment, I don't know. It was like I was like, oh my God, Rob Van Dam, yes! And then Sergeant Slaughter, and then the Hurricane, and then Kurt Angle, and oh my God, we've got one good neck out of all of them standing there, and then they come down, and that was the drizzling snits.
And boy,
from Rey Mysterio, that was not a frog splash. That would disgrace Eddie, all of them. And the frog splash, the 5-star frog splash is my favorite finisher. I prefer it delivered by Rob Van Dam. This segment didn't need to happen.
I thought it was funny where it's like, okay, so Rob Van Dam's the first one out, which was still kind of senseless. And then who's right there by his side, but old Sarge.
Sergeant Slaughter, because they had so many angles together. Those two worked hand in hand. When I say Rob Van Dam, you think Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, that's my match game answer is always Sergeant Slaughter.
I saw Rob Van Dam and music hit, and I was like, oh my God, here comes Sabu to sell him weed.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because now we have to tell the story, but we don't get a chance to talk Rob Van Dam stories very often, but we've got a funny one. Jerry and I were going to I believe it was a Raw and SmackDown taping. This was July of 2006 in Philadelphia. And
it was a super show.
Yeah, it was a super show, Raw and SmackDown. And we made some signs. And Jerry made a sign that said, I sell RVD weed.
To give context to the time period, this is right after Rob Van Dam got pulled over with Sabu.
It's the night Rob Van Dam was losing the title.
He was the champion, gets pulled over for having all this weed in the car and being high. So they're taking the title off him. I think Triple H beat him, right?
Edge.
Edge beat him. And
it was actually a three-way with John Cena.
So I made that sign. I sell RVD weed.
And
go ahead.
Chip, my stepfather, comes out into the garage where we're making the signs, and he's just looking around. He goes, what's RVD weed?
Like it's a special brand of Kush.
Like it's Jerry advertising that he's selling drugs. It was just so funny that was his thoughts. So that's our RVD story as we continued through this terrible Raw reunion.
I love Chip, by the way.
This segment, I think I have a different take on than you did. $1 Million Man buys the 24/7 championship. Alundra Blaze was out. She let us know right away that she meant what she meant by saying she would not be the champ for long. She took a trash can near the announce desk and was about to drop the title in the trash, a callback to her infamous segment on WCW Monday Nitro in the mid-90s, where she threw away the then WWF Women's Championship title. Before she could, however, Ted DiBiase was out for a little callback of his own. He offered to purchase the 24/7 title from Blaze, calling back to the time in which he bought the WWE Championship from Andre the Giant after his controversial win over Hulk Hogan in 1988. Handed her a wad of $100 bills and gave us his legendary maniacal laugh as the newest 24/7 champion of the night. I actually will say I liked this segment, and you can feel free to judge me. And I know you disagree because you said it earlier, but your thoughts?
$1 Million Man coming out in an $80 suit off the rack at Kohl's.
He's not wrong.
It looked like my daughter made the dollar signs on his lapel out of glitter glue.
Again, I think you're selling your daughter short.
I think I am. I might be. It comes out. I thought the only thing that's going to save this, because he doesn't look like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He looks like, oh my goodness, can I get $5 for a photo at a Comic-Con DiBiase? When he reaches into his lapel, I thought he was going to be like, oh, I don't have my wallet. But no, he just couldn't get in, and then he pulls out the wad of cash, and it was just poorly executed. I like the idea. I'm sure it sounded great in the writing room. It just didn't work for me. Quit screwing with my childhood.
All right, listen. I was crapping on the bad segments, a lot of the stuff with wrestlers who weren't legends, a lot of the nonsense storylines that didn't make any sense. These are two deserving legends. These are things that are callbacks to my childhood. It's them in character, just kind of reliving what they used to do. It didn't ruin any sort of, it's a 24/7 title. So go ahead and make jokes about throwing that one away because it's garbage as it is. It didn't ruin an active wrestler storyline like the last segment did. I was totally okay with this one. Call me crazy.
No, you know what? I'm just going to apply the grain of salt rule to it. Grain of salt, 24/7. You're right. And again, I'm sure it sounded amazing backstage when they were like, we'll have a Lunger Blaze threaten to throw it in the garbage can, which didn't happen on Raw, by the way, but whatever, I get it. And then we'll have Ted DiBiase come out and buy the championship, which is a callback to his deal with Andre, and that's cool. But they both, whatever.
My God, there's a picture of this. If you offered me $1 million and said, what female wrestling legend is this? It looks like Ivory.
That's the problem I was having. And the fact that she looks like she's dressed up standing in the ring next to Stevie Richards when they were doing their Right to Censor with the Good Father. Who dressed her? Is she trying to be the next Colonel Sanders?
All right, this next segment I had big problems with. Seth Rollins defeats AJ Styles via disqualification. Is it okay if I get started?
Just you do it all here, because just do this one, because I may say the F word.
Here's a match they've been promoting all night. Here's a match that I think any logical wrestling fan would think could be a potential match of the year. Here's a match with two very visible, active, big parts of the show. And I made sure I sat down and paid attention to this match, and boy, do I regret it.
And a rebranded faction. Let's not downplay the fact that we're building the OC. They have shirts, they have entrants, they look badass. This is the club people wanted when Gallows and Anderson came to the WWE. We're getting it. These guys are going to tear through people. And go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, Jerry's absolutely right. In fact, I don't remember them ever referring to it as the name OC before. So it wound up being total fodder for a DX reunion that was pointless, stupid. And if you think about it, the DX reunions are barely even special anymore. Like, we just got it at the Hall of Fame. We had it at the Raw.
Click. It was like a Click reunion, but also with
we also get ad nauseum anymore. I would have really just rather seen a straight match. These guys didn't even have the chance to do it. And making the club look weak to a bunch of old dudes, I thought was just a bad decision.
Kevin Nash doesn't look good. Scott Hall can barely walk to the ring. X-Pac, I'm surprised he didn't come to the ring with his service animal. I mean, it's just, I'm not even trying to make fun of these dudes. It's not believable. It would be like having Braun Strowman back down to Sergeant Slaughter at this point. Stop it.
Jerry's not wrong. Let's keep going. I think we're getting close to the end here.
Getting close to the F word.
Drake Maverick defeats Ted DiBiase to win the title. DiBiase was entering his limo to escape, but after he closed the door, loud bangs and yelling could be heard from inside the limousine. When it was all said and done, Maverick emerged as the champion once again, as the mid-card superstars gave chase.
I mean, the 24/7 title gave them a lot to do with these guys to keep them out of the ring.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, we'll keep going. Okay. I think we've already talked about this. Bray Wyatt attacks Mick Foley. Foley was cutting a promo in the ring, and when he was revisiting his favorite moment from Raw on the Titantron, his victory over The Rock for his first WWE championship, everything in the arena slowly began to shut down. Oh, which, by the way, Corey Graves did a terrible job of selling. But
this pissed me off so much because Corey Graves, why are you insulting my intelligence? You're calling this a power outage. Everybody and their mama knows that that's not a power outage. Last week, it worked. You were in Long Island. They had just had the blackout in Times Square in Manhattan. They were dealing with rolling blackouts. No one had seen it before. And you said, is it a power outage? Because it could have been. You know darn well it's not a power outage.
Yeah, and it's like the video had the effects on it as it was like dying, like almost like a record was dying, like a record, you know. So yeah, I didn't like Corey Graves here. Wyatt again as the Fiend was in the ring, and he slapped the mandible claw on Foley, taking him down to the mat. He posed for a bit for the camera as the arena went completely black again, as his evil laugh took us to commercial.
That description is cutting out some of the nuance there, if you noticed. It was kind of the in-ring debut of the hurt and heel gloves.
No, I didn't pick up on that.
And the way that works. So, like, as it's flashing to the Fiend, he's got the gloves up by his ears, like he did in the show the one or two times in the Firefly Funhouse, and hurt and heel. And all of a sudden, he puts the heel glove down, and you can tell by his eyes he's listening to the hurt, and then he goes after him. And I'm sure we're going to see at some point where he hears heel instead of hurt, and he just decides to leave them be. So I liked that part of it. I liked the mandible claw. I think I saw online a lot of people think he's adopting the mandible claw as a move now. I think that Mick Foley just can't take a bump, and so let's just beat him with this and gently get him to the ground.
Yeah, you know what, Jerry? You gave that one a lot more thought than I did. I just loved how creepy Bray looked. Oh, are you there? Yeah, I can't. Hey, can you call me back? Hang up and call me back. Something weird's going on. Call me back. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me pull you. Hold on. Unmute yourself. Oop. Call me. Oop. Yeah. Hold on. Hello? Hold on. We'll get him back. Something weird happened with the phone. Let's see what's going on here. Sorry, guys. I know it's already been a long episode. We're almost done. I could hear a weird, I don't know if it translated through the show or not, but I heard a weird like humming sound when the phone line disconnected us. Let's see if we can get connected or not. I hope it's not the end of, oh, hold on, Jer. 1 sec. You there, Jer? I can see he's trying to give me a call, and it looks like someone's phone may have. Okay, here he goes. Let's see. I can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Yep. Hold on. All right, hold on. He's writing us a note. I apologize for the weekend to this show. It looks like it might be done. Ah, there it is. Well, hey. Hold on. We can fix this. Hold on. Let's see if we can get him here. Sorry, guys. One sec. Anything, Jer? Let's see if I really want to bring him back up. Hold on. I think we got him here. Hello? Oop. Hello? Anybody there? Can anybody hear me? I got it. Hold on. I'll call him.
How about now?
Oh, hey, you there? Hey, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you though.
Can you put your headphones into your phone? What a disaster. I think we're going to get him, folks. I think we're going to get him.
How about now?
Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Must have been a power outage.
Yeah, look at this. We've made it through. I was promising people I was trying my hardest.
Okay. So you can hear me, I can hear you. Everything's good.
Yeah, I mean, you sound different, but it works.
The phones all of a sudden don't work in here.
Yeah, I heard like a buzzing sound, and I could tell that one of us was having a phone problem.
Pissed. Yeah.
It's okay, Val. Hey, listen, I mean, go ahead.
We're good. Where were we? We were talking about the Fiend and the hurt and the heel and the mandible claw and me thinking Mick Foley can't take a bump.
Yeah, and I was saying that you gave it a lot more thought than I did. I was just kind of appreciating it for all the creepy, scary stuff like we did last week with Finn. I wasn't looking for as much as you were, I think.
Sure. I was just glad to see that he made the show. I was afraid it disconnected me from the one thing, but you can still hear me, right? So
yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so I'll just keep talking. I noticed that, and I don't know if you caught this, but they flashed to the Fiend a couple of times.
Yes.
Going either into or out of a commercial break.
I did notice. I think I noticed it twice.
I noticed it twice as well. So I thought, oh, God, is that all they're going to do tonight? And then tomorrow they're going to do Fiend stuff. But no, they worked it in. Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, me too.
We only got a few more segments to get through here, and I know we've been on for a while. Let's keep barreling through this. Natalya and Becky Lynch brawl. I'm not going to read the whole description. I'm assuming you feel the same way I do. This Natalya thing is over. I don't think she's a good heel. I don't know why she's being used in this capacity right now. There's way better uses for Becky Lynch than what's happening right now.
Yeah, I feel like they're struggling to find Becky Lynch a good opponent. Like, they built Becky Lynch up so well, but then if you look at who they've had her working against since her big moment at WrestleMania, it's been Lacey Evans and Natalya. Like, I feel like there has to be better foes for her other than Charlotte. There has to be a better adversary because the protagonist is only as good as the antagonist.
Natalya, we just did that one. 24/7 championship. R-Truth defeats Drake Maverick to win the title. Maverick thought he was home free as he was about to get into a limo with his wife who was awaiting him. By the way, I do like that Drake's wife is such a big part of this, just me personally. Truth snuck up behind him. Carmella kicked Maverick over, and Truth got the pinfall to win the title back. Afterwards, Truth jumped into the limo, and it sped off with Renee inside. Maverick experienced double heartbreak when he realized that not only did he lose his title again, but for the time being, his wife as well.
Yep. 24/7.
So that happened. And then we move on. Almost done, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take up everyone's whole morning with this. Braun Strowman defeats Randy Rowe via pinfall. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. Like we're back to, we have to rebuild Braun because they broke him there for a little bit. So have him squash people.
Of course, this CBS website gave it a D. Listen, it was going to be a squash match. At least that toss was really impressive.
Threw his ass.
All right, and then there's the toast to Raw. I mean, I can read through it if you want. Here, I'll read through it. Ric Flair, flanked by the other legends in attendance, began the Toast to Raw main event segment at the top of the stage. Hulk Hogan then followed, and he talked about how great it was to be back on Raw in his hometown of Tampa. Hogan delivered his signature catchphrases, and then the glass shattered. Stone Cold Steve Austin made his way to the ring and laid down coolers full of his Broken Skull IPA beer in the corners. Austin took the mic and put over everyone, from the legends on the stage to the ring crew to the people in attendance, saying they're all part of the WWE family. He told stories of spending the last 24 hours drinking beer with Hogan and Flair, meeting up with Ron Simmons before inviting every legend on the stage to join him in the ring for a toast. As the show was going off the air, Austin was taking up every possible second he could as the 11 p.m. Eastern Time hour arrived, thanking everyone in the crowd for coming while trying to fit in a funny story from the past involving Gerald Brisco. That's the end of the recap. I'll just say Austin is actually pretty good in these circumstances. He was the highlight of the returning legends at Raw 25, and it's probably safe to say he was the highlight last night.
He is the best promo in the company. I don't even think he had anything prepared there. He went out there. It's not like when Steve was drinking Steve Weisers in the 90s. I looked it up. His IPAs are 6.8% alcohol. He's getting drunk, and they're chugging him in the ring, and they're getting drunk with him. I thought it was a good promo. I thought it was okay. I hate the what stuff. I'm just always going to hate it. And if this brings back the what stuff, I'm going to be pissed. I thought it was a weird way to end. I was waiting for an angle or some kind of business, and that never happened. He just brought everybody down to the ring. And so it's kind of weird to see the boogeyman chugging beers with Steve Austin. The funniest part for me was Rob Van Dam has never moved so fast in his life. He basically 5-star frog splashed into the cooler of beer to get himself some. It is what it is. The show was what it was. I'm hoping we can get back on track next week.
Yeah, well, I mean, we might get back on track tonight, to be honest with you. I mean, we didn't see a single McMahon that I can remember last night. I was worried that whatever Steve Austin was going to do last night would become just a 10-minute commercial for his upcoming TV show. I'm glad that it wasn't. And Steve is the one guy who seems to be kind of Teflon when it comes to these reunion shows, my opinion.
Plus he said stuff that I would have found disingenuous if other people would have delivered it. Talking about family, talking about the Raw family, the cameramen, how the listeners or the viewers and the people at home and the people in attendance are family. Like, it sounds like if Corey Graves or Michael Cole would have spewed that nonsense, I would have just rolled my eyes out of my head. Yeah. But Steve Austin saying it, while it's a departure from his character, it was genuine, and I enjoyed it. I did.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we've taken up enough of everyone's time today. I didn't expect this episode to be so long, but hey, thanks for being Teflon today too, Jerry. I appreciate that because we thought fast on our feet, I guess, all things considered, and we were able to get to the end of this episode. So tomorrow, are you on a weird schedule?
I am. I have a broadcast at a water park, hawking ravioli.
Well, so tomorrow late or Thursday normal time, I believe, is when we can get you your SmackDown recap, where hopefully a lot will happen because not a lot did last night. All right, Jerry, I'm going to play the music, and I will talk to everybody later on. Thanks for tuning into this supersized episode, a reunion episode of sorts, of Post to Post. We'll talk to you later on in the week.